final product, you will see, and everybody else that comes in behind you will see, well, he didn't do a good job because look at this. If you try to cut corners, the Bible tells us that we must build on a solid foundation. We must build on the best foundation. That is why it's so important not to scrimp on any part of any kind of project, of any kind of construction that we may be doing. In our walk with God, we must not also scrimp. We must not also cut corners. We must always be with Him. We must always turn to Him. We can't treat Jesus like a light switch. We can't turn Him on and off any given time. We can't love Him one minute and in the next minute forget Him. He knows our hearts and He knows us. And when we have that switch turned off, He's waiting for that quiet time. Are we going to fall apart like a great crash? Are we going to say, Lord, Lord, and be turned away? Are we walking in the light, and constantly are we built our life on something with a solid foundation? God, as the foundation, will only keep you supported. It will always do that. We must go to Him daily. We must and be willing to say that we need you, God. To lead us. I'm sorry. I had a different thought there. God has to lead us and guide us in everything that we do, no matter what it may be. Don't treat Him like that light switch. Don't turn Him off. Use Him only when you need Him. You got to be there, and you got to go to that quiet time continuously. In closing, I like to share something with everybody here. I was explaining this to you, Bill, in the first service. You know, I don't know about y'all, but I have a bunch of Bibles. I really did. When I went to seminary school, I was fortunate enough to get a couple of libraries from some retiring pastors. And I built up a library. My wife, she knows I have a lot of books. She's shaking her head because it takes up a lot of my house, my part of the house. Anyway, in going through these books, I noticed a Bible on my shelf that I hadn't seen or ever read. And I noticed that it was wore out, and I kind of wondered about the whole thing. You know, well, this don't look like one of my Bibles. You know, did I pick one up at church maybe and bring it home? And so I got to looking in it, and lo and behold, I never realized that I had this Bible, but it was signed years ago by my oldest brother, who's not here today. But I'm going to make sure that this heads back to him, that this gets back into his hand, because he needs it right now. In closing also, I'd like to share this last verse. And it's in our handout today. It's in Mark, chapter 1, verse 34 is where I'm actually going to start. It's 34 and 35. And I want you to really just consider this. And it says, and He healed many that were sick of divers and diseases, and He casted out many devils, and suffered not the devils to speak, because they knew Him. And here's the part that I really want you to really bring home with you and just think about it all week. And in the morning, rising up, a great while before day, he went out and departed into a solitary place, and there he prayed. That was Jesus. Jesus got up early in the morning, and he found him a solitary place, and he prayed. He continuously prays for us, I know this. So we need to be more like Jesus. We hear that? Well, that's a good way to be more like Jesus. Find you that solitary place and go to the Father. I thank you. I appreciate those times and appreciate my church family support.